Hare Krishna devotees, welcome to our Srimad Bhagavatam Stutis series. Today's shloka number shloka 10 of Dhruva's Stuti from chapter 9, canto 4. Ya nivrittistanubhratam tava pada padma
Nirvritisthanubhratam tava pada padma
dhyanad bhavajjana katha shravanena vasyat
dhyanad bhavajjana katha shravanena vasyat
sa brahmane swamahimanyaphi nathamabhut
sa brahmani swamahimanyapi nathamadbhut
Kim tvantaka lulitat patatam vimanat.
kim tvantakasi lulitat patatham vimanat.
Word for word meaning, translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ya, that which, nivrittihi, bliss, tanubhratam, of the embodied, tava, your, pada padma, lotus feet, dhyanat, from meditating upon, bhavajjana, from your intimate devotees, katha, topics, shravanena, by hearing, va, or syat, comes into being, sa, that bliss, brahmani, in the impersonal Brahman, swamahimani, your own magnificence, api, even, natha, O Lord, ma, never, bhoot, exists, kim, what to speak of, to, then, antaka asi, by the sword of death, lulitat, being destroyed, patatam, of those who fall down, vimanat, from their airplanes. Translation. My Lord, the transcendental bliss derived from meditating upon your lotus feet or hearing about your glories from pure devotees is so unlimited that it is far beyond the stage of Brahmananda, wherein one thinks himself merged in the impersonal Brahman as one with the Supreme. Since Brahmananda is also defeated by the transcendental bliss derived from devotional service, then what to speak of the temporary blissfulness of elevating oneself to the heavenly planets, which is ended by the separating sword of time. Although one may be elevated to the heavenly planets, he falls down in due course of time. Reading from Srila Prabhupada's purport, the transcendental bliss derived from devotional service, primarily from Shravanam Kirtanam, hearing and chanting, cannot be compared to the happiness derived by karmis by elevating themselves to the heavenly planets, or by jnanis or yogis who enjoy oneness with the Supreme Impersonal Brahman. So actually there's a very beautiful shloka emphasizing the importance of bhakti or devotional service that transcends everything else. So essentially Dhruva Maharaj is comparing material happiness versus heavenly happiness versus Atmananda, self-happiness versus spiritual bliss. All four is being compared in one shloka. Of course, the emphasis is on spiritual bliss of devotional service. And Prabhupada is saying, how does that begin? That spiritual bliss begins with Shravanam, Kirtanam. And just by Shravanam and Kirtanam, one can experience so much transcendental bliss. Yogis generally meditate upon the transcendental form of Vishnu. But devotees not only meditate upon him, but actually engage in the direct service of the Lord. So we should not think that devotees are not meditating at all. You may think, oh, they are busy running around. But if you're running around doing your service for Krishna, then in effect you're meditating. You're performing direct service to the Supreme One. In the previous verse, we find the phrase bhavapyaya, which refers to birth and death. The Lord can give relief from the chain of birth and death. It is a misunderstanding to think, as do the monists, that when one gets relief from the process of birth and death, he merges into the Supreme Brahman. So, if you get released from the process of birth and death and merge into Supreme Brahman, yes, of course, that is also a form of bliss. But nothing compares to the bliss of actually personally serving the Lord, because there is an intimate relationship there. Here it is clearly said that the transcendental bliss derived from Shravanam, Kirtanam by pure devotees cannot be compared to Brahmananda, or the impersonal conception of transcendental bliss derived by merging into the Absolute. So, there is a difference between the karmakandis and the karmis. So, karmakandis are eternally engaged in doing papa. At least the karmakandis are doing punya. So, when they do punya, they will go to the heavenly planets. And as Prabhupada very nicely uses the analogy of an aircraft, an aircraft has only a limited amount of fuel to take it from place A to place B. If the aircraft continues to try and fly beyond what the fuel capacity is, then it will fall from the sky. It's as simple as that. When the fuel runs out, you have to fall. So when the fuel of punya that you have accumulated runs out, you have to fall even from the heavenly planets. And then beyond the heavenly planets here, Tapaloka, Janaloka, Brahmaloka, there everybody is self-realized. They are all experiencing Atmananda, self-bliss. And of course, some of them are also, engaged in meditating on the Paramatma within them. So they also experience bliss. But here, Dhruva Maharaj is saying nothing can compare to the bliss that begins with Shravanam, Kirtanam, and doing personal service to the Lord. The position of karmis is still more degraded. Their aim is to elevate themselves to the higher planetary systems. That is, if you compare the Brahmanandis to the karmis, then the karmis are a little lower. Why? Because they only aim for the heavenly planets, which is still there in the material world only. It is said, Yanti Deva Prata Devan. Persons who worship the demigods are elevated to the heavenly planets. This is from the 9th chapter, 25th shloka of the Bhagavad Gita. But elsewhere in the Bhagavad Gita, 9.21, we find Kshine Punye Martya Lokam Vishanti. Those who are elevated to the higher planetary systems must come down again as soon as the results of their pious activities are exhausted. They are like the modern astronauts who go to the moon. As soon as their fuel is used up, they are obliged to come back down to this earth. As the modern astronauts who go to the moon or other heavenly planets by force of jet propulsion have to come down again after exhausting their fuel, so also do those who are elevated to the heavenly planets by force of yajnas and pious activities. Antakasi lulitat, by the sword of time, one is cut from his exalted position within this material world and he comes down again. So, why is transcendental bliss the highest? It is because we have a relationship with the Lord. And no relationship in the material world is lasting and or sweet. Actually, what we want in this material world is two things. We want a sweet relationship and we want an unbreakable relationship. So both our expectations are actually completely illusory. Because in this material world, there is no everlasting sweetness or unbreakable relationship. It is simply not available here. But you get a small sample taste in the form of family relationships. But even that experience is illusory. Why? We are looking for something that is sweet and permanent, even though we know this body is temporary and this is just jada. How can you extract something sweet from something that is just mere matter? So if the body is temporary, then you know automatically the relationship is also temporary. And as we discussed yesterday, Prabhupada says that there is only lust in the material world. Why? Because lust is always self-centered. Because the first question that you ask is, what's in it for me? The minute you ask, what's in it for me, that is actually lust, it is not love. So when we are I-centered, it is lust. In the material world, we want to become the center of attention and attraction. So it's quite egocentric. In a great deal of illusion, we forget and then we fall down. We forget that we are Jivera Swarupa Hoy Krishnera Nityadas, as we discussed yesterday. So we really don't know what is real happiness, either in quantity or in quality. So it's quite disturbing that we are expecting so much from temporary relationships. Kaviraj Goswami says that lust and love are as different as iron and gold. We want to enjoy iron, whereas gold is always available to us in our relationship with the Supreme Lord. So this chanting and hearing surpasses all kinds of temporary happiness. So Prabhupada is saying, Dhruva Maharaj appreciated that the results of devotional service are far more valuable than merging into the absolute or being elevated to the heavenly planets. The words Patatam Vimanat are very significant. Vimana means airplane. Those who are elevated to the heavenly planets are like airplanes, which drop when they run out of fuel. So in this particular shloka, we can see clearly the Dhruva Maharaj, because the knowledge has been revealed to him by the touch of the Lord's conch shell onto his forehead. He immediately understands the intricacies of the different types of activities that we perform in this material world, from the karmis to the jnanis to the devotees. And in that, he's talking about the beauty of meditating upon the Lord's lotus feet. and hearing about the glories of the Lord from the lips of pure devotees. Such kind of bliss is completely unlimited, unrestricted joy, bliss, transcendental bliss.
If you like our videos, please subscribe to our channel and turn on the bell notification. If you'd like to join our classes every day, please check the details in the description section of this video. We look forward to serving you.